Welcome team, Coach Bonnie here. We're going to run through a 45-minute yoga class. It's just going to be a general class meant to unwind and feel good. So join me sitting on our sit bones on our mats. Have the spine lifting nice and tall, and the eyes softly closed if you wish. And then take a moment to find the breath. Be mindful that your heart is lifted and the crown of your head is lifted. Sit bones are on the floor. Your shoulders are relaxed, your jaw is relaxed, your eyes are relaxed. As you settle into the rhythm of the breath, feel the shoulders relaxing a little bit more. Feel the exhale become a little bit longer. And then with your next exhale, let your chin travel towards your chest. So we're lengthening the back of our neck. Keeping the heart lifted, the spine nice and tall, the lower ribs pulled in, but allow the head to relax down. Being patient with the neck muscles. They work a long time, so let's be patient and give them just a moment to relax a little bit further. You might feel the stretch move from the base of your skull between your shoulder blades and perhaps down your back. Still being aware of the breath and the exhale that is just a smidge longer. And then gently guide your chin towards your right collarbone, keeping the shoulders open and exploring the status of the muscles on the left side of the neck and the shoulder. Using the exhale to allow the muscles to release. And then gently guide your chin back to center for a moment. And then over towards the left side. Again, using the exhale to lengthen the muscles on the right side of the neck. And then back to center. Let's lift our head up. The gaze comes out in front of you, the eyes open. Interlace the fingers and then push the palms away. Stretching the wrists and the arms and the fingers. Keeping the abs engaged. Reach the arms up, reaching up towards the ceiling. Here we want to find our shoulder blades and pull them down our back. Your shoulders might be tight from swimming or biking. And this pose can be a little bit of work. So keeping the bottom ribs in, the hands reaching up. And then with an exhale, let's lean over to the left, stretching the left side. And inhaling up and leaning over to the other side. And inhaling up. Let's bring the hands halfway down. Find your shoulder blades and bring them in towards your spine. The hands can be open and active, the elbows slightly bent. So reaching open, stretching open the chest. And then with the next exhale, let everything come in, rounding the back. So we inhale open and exhale round, tucking the chin. Inhaling open and exhale around the back. Inhaling open and hold this time. Keeping the heart lifted, the bottom ribs in, the shoulder blades coming towards your back. This is good work for your shoulders. And then exhaling eagle arms, so the right comes underneath the left and the elbows cross. You might stay here, pressing the elbows together, or fully wrap the hands. Fingers are reaching up and the thumbs coming towards your nose. Inhaling open. And to the opposite side, the left under the right, and stop here or continue wrapping the hands. Remember that the breath is the connection between your body and your mind and your spirit. We work to have that be calm and smooth, helping the body to relax. And one more exhale, and then inhale the hands open. Let's bring the right hand down to the floor. Inhale the arm up, left arm up. Don't allow the arm to go forward right here. We're pulling our shoulder blade onto our back, and if this is where you stop, that's fine. Keeping the left sit bone down, and then reach over to the right. Be mindful that the right shoulder is away from the ear. And then inhaling up and over to the opposite side. Shoulder blade is on your back. Left shoulder away from the left ear. Inhaling all the way up. We're going to twist now to complete our warm-up. So we want to inhale our heart. And then as we exhale, twist to the right, using your arms minimally. The gaze can follow the center of the chest or continue to look behind you. As we twist and breathe, we want to imagine that the spine is a spiral staircase, that it's reaching directly up, not leaning back, not twisting to one side. Inhaling forward. And then inhale, heart nice and tall. With the exhale, twist to the left. Being mindful to keep the spine nice and tall, the shoulders and the face nice and relaxed. Inhaling back to center. And then let's put the soles of our feet together. So if you're here, that's great, or if you're here, that's okay too. If you need to prop yourself up a little bit to get your spine nice and tall, that's fine too. We're going to sit here and just allow the legs to relax a little bit. The inner thighs might be protesting. Again, just use the exhale to help them to relax as much as they can. For folks that want to go into this pose a little bit further, we want to learn how to press the outsides of our feet together and open your feet like a book. So this will help to activate the synergistic partner of the inner thighs to help them to release. So inhaling the up and bring the knees up. We're going to move to table. So transitioning into table, we keep the wrists underneath our shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And we're going to rock the hips around a little bit, just kind of wakening up the bottom part. And then over to the opposite side. Okay, and let's go ahead and pause in the middle, and we're going to move towards cat-cow. So as we inhale, allow the belly to come down, pull the belly down with the abs, and then as you exhale, use your abs to push your spine up. So inhaling cow, bring the heart forward. Exhaling cat, push the spine up. Inhale cow. Notice how the pelvis tilts. Exhale, cat. 2 more times. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And then back to center. We're going to bring our right foot out to the side. You can have your foot parallel to the long edge of the mat or pointed out about 45 degrees. And we're just going to rock back and forth, introducing motion into the hip joint. Arms are active, shoulders are on the back. Ask your inner thighs how they feel. If you want to add a little bit more, we inhale forward and then just a nice little dip. The elbows going straight back, inhaling forward, nice little dip. And one more time, forward, dip, and back. And then bring the leg in. Let's switch to the opposite side. Left foot out to the side. Whichever angle you have your foot is fine. Let's just try to get the foot flat on the floor. And then introducing the rocking motion. Seeing how much mobility the hip has, how tight the inner thighs are. And then bringing forward for a dip if you'd like. Shoulders stay even with the elbows and no lower. And forward. And one more time. And then go ahead and bring your foot in. And we're going to move to child's pose. Let's make this a wide leg child's pose. So feet stay together, knees come apart, push your sit bones back, and bring your forehead down to the floor. Inhaling back up to table, we're going to move to downward facing dog. So roll onto your toes and pushing the sit bones up, downward facing dog. I imagine that the backs of your legs are tight, so go ahead and pedal your feet back and forth. Ensure that downward facing dog for you is a spine lengthener, so if you need to bend your legs, that's fine, but we don't want our lower back stressed because our legs are tight. So bending the knees is fine. Using your abs to bring your ribs more towards your thighs is the key action to lengthen the spine. So we're gonna inhale to table, exhale to child's pose, and go through a simple flow of inhale, table, exhale, downward facing dog, inhale, table, exhale, child's pose. Continuing, inhale, table, exhale, downward facing dog, inhale, table, exhale, child's pose. Inhale, table, exhale, downward facing dog, inhale, table, exhale, child's pose. And one more time, inhale, table, exhale, downward facing dog, inhale, table, exhale, child's pose. The hamstrings might not have loosened that much. We will address that here in a little bit, just warming up. We're going to move to a side body stretch. So take your hands and go all the way over off the mat to the right side. If you reach with the left pinky, anchoring the stretch at the left hip, get a nice side body stretch. If you work to keep the shoulder blade on your back, you'll find a nice shoulder stretch. Again, using your breath to connect with the body, using the breath to lengthen the muscles. And then walking the hands to center, and then all the way over to the left. Reaching strongly with the right hand, the right pinky, anchoring the stretch at the right hip. And then walking the hands forward. Inhaling the hips up to downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and push our hands super strong into the mat for this downward facing dog. Make sure that the hands are active and that at least shoulder width wide. And then let's kind of lift up our right foot. Put all of your weight into that left leg. Stretch the back side of that leg. And then switch to the right. Bending the left leg, bringing it up a little bit. And then both feet on the floor. And then let's walk our feet towards the top of our space, putting our hands on our knees, bringing the heart forward, and then lifting all the way up. Hands to the heart. Make sure that you have a yoga block handy for those that have tight hamstrings. And then inhaling all the way up, exhaling halfway down. This halfway down, let's bring our heart forward, get our back flat. If you're up here, that's fine. Knees slightly bent, feet are active on the floor. Then inhaling all the way up, hands down to the heart. Inhale up, exhale down, all the way. Inhaling halfway up, and exhale down. And perhaps you're here with your block. And then inhaling all the way up, hands down to the heart. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale halfway, bring that heart forward, get that back flat, and down. Inhale all the way up, hands down to the heart. One more time, just like that. Inhaling up, exhale down, halfway up, and all the way down. We're going to move to downward facing dog now. And forward for plank. So let's do the more conservative version here first. Bring the knees down, chest comes down, elbows straight back. All 10 toes on the floor. Inhale up for a tiny little cobra. And then back to downward facing dog. Let's step all the way forward. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale downward facing dog. Forward for plank. And knees, chest, chin. Keep the elbows in. Inhale up for cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping forward. And reaching all the way up. Hands down to the heart. One more time, just like that. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway. Exhale downward facing dog. And forward for plank. Lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale up for cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping all the way forward. Reaching all the way up. Hands down to the heart. So we're changing now. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Halfway up. And stepping the right foot back long. Drop the back knee for hip flexor stretch. Note here that my front leg, the left leg, is at 90 degrees. My front foot is working. I have brought my heart forward. If you need to use your block and be here, this is fine. If your body's a little more comfortable, if the pose is modified enough, you'll find the stretch that we want here, and it's really in the hip flexors. If you're stressed out and getting down to the hands down to the floor, you might not achieve such a nice stretch. So modify using a block or two if you need to. One more breath here. And then plant the hands and roll your toe. Move back to downward facing dog. So rest here in downward facing dog if you'd like, or join me in coming forward to plank. And lowering down. And then inhaling up for cobra. The gaze is straight down. So find your breath here. Figure out how to breathe, keeping all the toes on the floor, the elbows coming back towards your feet. And one more breath. Then back to downward facing dog. Finding the right foot, we're going to bring the right foot all the way up to the top of your space. Help it out if it needs it. Drop the back knee, moving towards the hip flexor on the left side. So if you need your block, it can be here. Again, using your breath to connect your body with your mind, paying attention to how the body feels, how the stretch is going, using your exhale to help the muscles to release. We're going to stay here one more breath. And then we're going to move to downward facing dog. And then stepping all the way forward. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Right foot steps back long again. Drop the back knee. This time we're going to inhale the chest up. If your knee in the right is upset, you can try to roll your toes underneath you. That helps a little bit. Or put a little towel, washcloth underneath your knee for those patellas that don't like to have pressure on them. So one more breath here. And then inhaling the hands up. So this is a modified crescent. Modified doesn't mean easier, just different. You can get a really nice stretch here. So one more breath, then plant the hands. Move to downward facing dog. So we can stay in this downward facing dog if you'd like, or move to child's pose, or you can come forward to plank. Pause in the plank. Ensure that your heart is reaching forward. The hands are active on the mat. The elbows are slightly bent. For those that hyperextend your elbows, slightly bent elbows are awesome. And then lowering down. Then inhale up for cobra. Think about in cobra that your toes are on the floor, all of them, even the little ones, and that your feet are reaching away from your sit bones. One more breath here. Then back to downward facing dog. Remember that downward facing dog, the knees can always be bent. You can always walk your feet back and forth for those that have tight calves and hams. So finding the right foot, bring the right foot all the way to the top of your space. Drop the back knee. And inhaling the hands up. Remember to honor the left knee if he doesn't like pressure. It's by rolling the toes or putting a washcloth underneath. The gaze can go up, the arms are reaching up nice and strong. While the arms are reaching up, the shoulders are coming down on your back. One more breath. Then plant the hands. We're going to step forward this time. And then reaching all the way up. Hands down to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Right foot steps back long, keeping the knee up so we can come up to here to this crescent, ensuring that the back leg is very straight. And then once you have your balance, the front knee is at 90 degrees and the foot is active. Inhale the hands up. Note that my palms are facing a little bit behind me. I'm rotating my arms to get some nice openness in the chest and the shoulders. And one more breath here. Then downward facing dog. We're going to change the movement here, so inhaling forward to plank. Then drop the knees, cross the feet. We're going to go to reverse table first, so the hands, point them out to the sides. Get your shoulder blades together towards your spine. Feet medium length from your sit bones. You'll figure out where they need to be. Toes are nice and strong. And then inhaling the heart and the sit bones up. Remembering that the heart is lifting up higher than the shoulders. Keeping the sit bones pushing up. Try to think about the four corners of your feet, or your feet remaining planted on the mat. Don't let them roll up. One more breath. And then release down. Switch back to downward facing dog. One more breath, and finding the right foot. Bring the right foot all the way to the top of the space. Help it if it needs it. Inhaling the torso up, the left leg is nice and straight. Front knee is bent 90 degrees. Once you have your balance, inhale the hands up. One more breath. Then plant the hands back to downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Lowering down, knees, chest, chin. We're going to work on our back a little bit more here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands down. Then we're going to roll our thumbs up. We're going to keep our feet on the floor. And we'll perform this movement 5 times, but we're going to push the thumbs up towards the ceiling. So inhaling the heart up, the thumbs up and down. Inhale up and down. Inhale up and down. One more time, inhaling up and hold it. And down, bring the hands in. Let's move to downward facing dog. And stepping the feet towards the top of the mat. Inhaling all the way up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, right foot back to crescent. Inhale the hands up and hold. Remember that the right leg is straight. And back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank, lowering down. Inhale up for cobra, back to downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot all the way forward. Inhaling up to crescent. Left leg very straight. Shoulders are on the back. Hands are active, reaching up. One more breath. Plant the hands, downward facing dog. And forward for plank. Drop the knees, cross the seat. We're going to move to full reverse plank. Hands out to the side. Toes, the toe pads, not the toes, toe pads down towards the floor. So inhaling up. Attempting to lift the heart higher than the shoulders. If your feet are cramping, don't point with the toes so strong. Push the bottoms of your feet down. One more breath. Then back to downward facing dog. Good work. Stepping all the way forward. Inhaling all the way up. Hands down to the heart. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Left foot steps back to crescent. Inhaling up. Left leg is strong, straight. Hands are reaching up. One more breath. Then to downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Lowering down. Inhale up, cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Left foot comes all the way forward. Inhaling up. Crescent. Right leg is straight. Left leg is strong. Shoulders are down the back. Hands are reaching up. One more breath. Downward facing dog. Forward for plank. Lower knee, cross the feet, roll back, reverse plank. Inhaling up. And back to downward facing dog. Stepping all the way forward, reaching the hands up. Hands down to the heart. So let's go ahead and transition into doing some poses. We've been working on hip flexors, length. So let's continue that thought and adding a little bit of hamstring in there as well. So standing at the top of your mat, we're going to work on warrior one. So let's step the left foot back. It's about a leg's length. Okay? And the back foot's about 45 degrees. And as the front knee bends, make sure that its trends towards the outside of your foot, the little pinky toe, and not inside. Okay? So once you have your legs set, both heels, even that heel down there on the floor, inhaling the hands up for warrior one. Take a moment to press the back heel down. You'll need to use the back side of the leg a lot. You'll feel your hips adjust, so make sure that they're straight forward. And then as you figure out the pose, perhaps bend the front knee a little bit more. For those that have a little cranky shoulders, cactus arms is perfectly fine. Strong cactus arms. So we're going to hold this pose for 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and exhale your hands down, straighten your front leg. Put your hands on your hips and notice that your hip bones are straight forward. We're going to keep our hands here, but the shoulder blades are coming towards our spine. And as we exhale next, with the front knee slightly bent, we're going to come forward, bringing the heart forward, finding a back leg stretch, front hamstring. Notice that the left hip is going to want to come up, so squeeze it down. And then inhaling up, exhaling down. This is pyramid. Moving, inhaling up. And exhale down, bringing the heart forward, pressing the back heel down. Inhaling up. And one more time. Down, bringing the heart forward, inhaling up. And back to warrior one. One more breath, then downward facing dog. So resting in downward facing dog if you would like, or child's pose. Walking the heels back and forth in this downward facing dog. If you'd like more core work, coming forward to plank. We're going to do some side planks. So we're going to start off with the left. Place the left hand in the middle. Roll to the side. Be on the edge of your left foot, just side plank, and then switch to the right side. And let's do 4 more times on each side. Left side, and right side. Left side, right side. And one more time on the left side and right side. And back to plank. And back to downward facing dog. Finding the left foot, bring the left foot all the way to the top of your space. Hop that back foot forward just a little bit, legs length, and coming up. Moving to warrior one on the opposite side. Back foot, heel is pressed down, front knee bends. Keeping that knee center or trending out to the side towards your little toe. Once you have your feet set, inhaling the hands up. Remember that the shoulder blades are coming down the back, the hands are active. Perhaps the palms facing back behind you. Excellent rotator cuff work. Remember cactus arms here. These cactus arms, notice that my elbows are coming straight out of my shoulder and that my wrists are straight above my elbow and everything is in alignment, as if there is a wall behind me. If you wanted extra work, you would rotate your hands back. Okay, let's release that. Straighten that front leg. Put your hands on your hips. Make sure that the hip bones are forward. Think about that back heel again, pressing it down. Front leg is strong. The knee is slightly bent. And with the next exhale, bring the heart forward, bringing the heart forward, back straight, inhaling up, and exhale down, inhaling up, exhale down, inhaling up, exhale down, and one more time, inhaling up, exhale down, inhaling up. And then let's step to the top of our space. Inhaling the hands all the way up. Exhaling the hands down to the heart. So we're moving on, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhale halfway up. Let's step the left foot back. Long step back. Heel archer in alignment. Back foot is parallel to the edge of the mat or slightly forward. We're going to move to warrior two. So right here, we want to think about three things. Are the feet working? The arch is lifting. As I start to bend this knee, it's going to move out towards my little toe, engaging the glute, even before I move. And then the shift of the pelvis to keep my trunk straight up. So I bend, nice and strong knee. Once I have this, inhaling the hands nice and soft. Shoulder blades are hugging down your back a little bit, but they're really lifted up from your back, from the bottom side energy. Face is soft, shoulders are soft. Shoulders aren't here, nice and soft. So warrior two, think about lifting all of the toes, trying to roll the back edge of that foot down to get arch work. One more breath here. And then inhaling the front leg straight, tilting the pelvis. We're going to move to a modified triangle, not getting very far towards the floor. We're just going to place our hand here just for reference. And you might be here. And then just open the hand nice and easy. Notice that my hand is in relation to my heart, not the ceiling. My head is stable, in line with my spine. If you have more space, you can come down. If you need assistance with core work, use your block. We're going to do a little bit of a movement with triangle to engage the back first. So we're going to exhale down, and I'm bringing my hand down. My hips aren't moving a whole lot, and this is a real nice stretch in my shoulder. And then as I inhale, open, I'm opening up my back, my chest, and my arm comes last. So exhaling down, inhale up, using my back, and up, exhale down. Inhale, open my arms, exhale, and one more time. Notice that my shoulder is opening, and my hand just nicely reaches up. I'm not forcing the shoulder back. And then move to warrior two, bending the front knee, bringing the torso up. Remember that the feet are lifted, the abs are coming in. Gaze can be softly over the middle finger. And one more breath. Then to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we stay here, we go to child's pose, or we move forward to plank. Plank is an awesome pose. As we stay here and gather our thoughts in plank, think about pushing your palms down. Your heart's lifted, the head is not drooping. Your biking neck will like you not allowing your head to droop, but do it from the throat. Lift up your head as if you're creating a double chin. Use your neck flexor in the front. Notice how that feels different. And if you spend time in arrow, you will benefit from doing this. Stronger neck means that the traps aren't working so much. Let's spend a little bit more time in plank. Pushing the heels away, lifting up the bottom ribs. And go ahead and lower down. Inhaling up for a little bit of a cobra. Take a couple of breaths here, keeping all 10 toes on the floor. One more breath. Then back to downward facing dog. Finding the right foot, stepping the right foot all the way to the top of your mat. It's a long step back. Drop the back heel. We're coming up to warrior two. Heel arch in line, toes lifted. As the knee bends, it trends out towards your little toe. Getting the glutes working. Get the pelvis neutral, and then softly lifting up the hands, the gaze over the front middle finger. Think about the actions with the feet. Lifting the toes, pressing the back edge of the back foot down, trying to get the arch off of the floor, keeping the pelvis neutral, don't roll forward. Tightness in the inner thighs will cause that. And one more breath. Then inhaling the front leg straight. Let's leaning forward. The front knee is slightly bent. And as we lean, supporting ourselves with our leg, or perhaps our yoga block, and then opening the hands in relation to the heart, where you're at, maybe not the ceiling. So this is triangle pose. You might experience hamstring, inner thigh, back stretch. Remember that the toes are still lifted. And then exhaling down, let's bring our hand down for this nice flow. Inhaling up, bring the shoulder blade on the back first. Open up the hands. Nice and gentle, exhaling down and stretch. Inhale, shoulder opens, hand reaches up. Exhaling, inhale, open, and reach. Exhale down, and one more time. Inhale, shoulder open, hand comes up, and back down. Let's move to downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, let's step all the way to the top of our mat, inhaling all the way up, and hands down to the heart. So let's transition to cool down. Inhaling up, exhale down, inhale halfway up, exhale down. You might need your block here. So it's a nice IT band stretch to connect your left hand to the block, bending your left knee. This allows the pelvis to tilt down, keeping the hand on the hip for a moment and twisting the torso open If you wanted more stretch, lift the toes on your right foot. If you had openness in the shoulders, go ahead and lift the hand up to the sky. If not, the hand on the hip is fine. Should be an IT band stretch. So use your breath to allow the muscle to stretch now that we're warmed up. And exhaling down. Shake the hips in the middle, and then planting the right hand, bend the right knee, hand on the hip. And then go ahead and twist the torso open. You can lift the toes on the front foot to increase the stretch in the left leg. If the shoulder is open, go ahead and lift the hand. If not, keep the hand down. And exhaling down. Let's reach all the way up. Exhale the hands down to the heart. Let's go ahead and transition down to the floor. Finish up our yoga session by stretching out the hamstrings. So we're going to start in Dandasana, and you can move the glutes out of the way to find the sit bones. The heart reaches up nice and tall. So this is Dandasana. Some of you might be here, and that's okay. Or you can push yourself forward if your hamstrings are incredibly tight to be here. If this is not comfortable at all, you can bend your knees or just not do it. Okay, we're going to move to head to knee pose. I like to think heart to toe. So we're going to bring in the right foot. And this right foot, it doesn't matter if it's here or if it's here. I kind of like mine in the middle. Okay? And what we're going to do is not twist the pelvis, and we're going to bring our heart forward. So if you're here, this is fine. If your back is really tight and your hamstrings are really tight, you can be here. Having a yoga strap here can help as well. But there's ways of doing this without the yoga strap as well. So all you need to do is kind of be okay with your hand on your thigh. Remember, we're trying to decrease this angle right here between our ribs and our thighs. So we're trying to pull our heart forward, isolating the hamstring and kind of leaving the back out of it. If you have more space and your hamstrings are a little bit longer, reaching forward. Again, this is time to really connect in with the breath, allowing the breath to soothe the body, talk the hamstrings into releasing. If you'd like, go ahead and tuck your chin and bring your head down a little bit to increase the stretch in the back. And inhaling up. Let's go ahead and switch to the opposite side. So the right foot is nice and strong. Notice that the feet are working, and place the left foot wherever is comfortable for you. Hips are square forward. And go ahead and bring your heart forward. Working to isolate the hamstrings, feeling the hamstrings lengthening. Reaching the hands forward if you'd like. If you'd like to add a little bit more, go ahead and tuck your chin and round your back a little bit if this feels good for you. And then let's go ahead and release that, bringing up, and let's return to Dandasana, or stick pose. Find the sit bones again. Feet are active and straight forward, lifting the heart up. Let's bring our legs to a wide leg stance. So a lot of you might find this difficult, or you might look like this, and that's okay. So you can sit on a bolster or a pillow, push yourself forward if you'd like. But take note of where the feet are. Wherever the feet can be, have them be active and straight up. And then we're going to work towards tilting the pelvis forward and coming this way. If you're here, that's fine. Just find the inner thighs and breathe with them to help them to relax. As we stay in these poses a little bit longer, we can address the muscles and kind of touch in with ligaments and tendons, but we really want to stay longer to address fascial tightness. Fascia is kind of like a covering over everything that can be tight as well. The fascia is a little more resistant to stretching than muscles, so it takes a little bit longer, but has a long-term effect if you stay longer. This is where using your breath, telling yourself to relax and release, helps you go further into the pose as you stay here patiently. So let's change this up a little bit. Go ahead and inhale up, and then kind of lean over to the left leg. And you might be here, so we're going back to kind of hamstring and hip. If you can reach further, it's a nice feeling to reach with the opposite hand and pull yourself forward a little bit or around your back, and you can get a nice stretch in through the shoulders as well. So inhaling up and switch to the opposite side. So we're leaning over the right side, keeping both sit bones on the floor. So you might be here, and that's okay, or reaching forward. Or if you can find the outside of your foot with your opposite hand and reaching forward that way. And then inhaling up. And coming forward. Let's come forward one more time. And let's go ahead and inhale up and help your feet come forward. And we're going to go ahead and relax back. So move yourself into the middle of your mat, relaxing down. Go ahead and rock your hips from side to side. Okay, and then bring your knees up. Squeeze your knees towards your belly. And then go ahead and let your legs lay. Let your body relax. The hands be open, the feet be open. You can softly close the eyes if you like. So let's run through the parts of the body to help our body relax. Feel as if the heels are dropping down, melting into the floor, the calves, back of the legs. The lower back should be off the mat and nicely curved. Allow the shoulders to release and open. The face is soft. And let's go ahead and lay here for a couple of moments, paying attention to the breath. The breath should be soft and relaxed. And then gently deepen our breathing. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Go ahead and bring the feet to the mat, bending the legs. And then roll to the right side. Pausing here for a moment, supporting your head with your arm. And then coming up to seated, top of your mat, as we started. Go ahead and place your hands on your knees or hands to your heart. Breathe in deeply and exhale. Thanks for sharing your yoga practice. Namaste.